is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Busch Stadium, the scene in downtown St. Louis. Beautiful night. It's game number 2, the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great pitching matchup here tonight. Carlos Martinez, the right-hander, going for St. Louis. On the other side, we saw him last year just dominate the Cardinals, and that's Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, what the Cardinals hitters are going to get tonight is a lot of fastballs, anywhere from 96 to 99. Jacob deGrom with a good slider, a good curveball, and a changeup, and will use all 4 pitches at any time. The Mets hitters, they will have their hands full with who could be coming up to being one of the best pitchers in the league, Carlos Martinez. Same stuff, 92 to 99, curveball, changeup, and slider, and look to see what both of these guys have for the hitters tonight.
Carlos Martinez, Jacob deGrom. We saw home runs aplenty in game number 1. Does it carry over here in game number 2? We're about to find out. The New York Mets, St. Louis Cardinals. Important game for the wild card. Baseball is coming up. for the Cardinals. He'll bat 5th for Mike Matheny's club. He's part of Archaea in the driver's seat since the All-Star break. He's hitting .347. Last night, another double for Yadier Molina. Leads all Major League catchers with 27 of those this year. Yadier Molina will be catching Carlos Martinez. And on the other side, it's Jacob deGrom. Martinez, deGrom, the Mets, and the Cardinals. All coming your way on Fox Sports Midwest. Against the New York Mets. Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. It's a warm evening here in St. Louis. Game number 2, the Mets and the Cardinals here on Fox Sports Midwest. Jim Hayes is here. The Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, Dan McLaughlin from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Jose Reyes has scored 7 runs in his last 8 games, so he has been a table setter as of late for the Mets. The switch hitter leads it off, followed by Curtis Granderson, Yoenis Cespedes, Jay Bruce, James Loney, Asdrubal Cabrera. A couple of extra base hits last night. Kelly Johnson, Travis d'Arnaud, and the pitcher batting ninth, Jacob deGrom. He's trying to pick up win number 12 here this evening, and that's the Cardinals' Carlos Martinez. Took a no-hitter into the 6th on Wednesday at Minute Maid Park. Just 1 run over 7 innings of work. An odd spot in the dirt, right at shortstop by Greg Garcia. Clay and the drying agent that they put on the dirt around the ball field. 1 ball and 1 strike. Reyes hitting .357, 9 runs scored, and 4 driven in this month. Good changeup. Chop to third, taken there by Peralta, and then picked by Carpenter at first. Nice play. Well done on both ends, Jim Edmonds.
Well, Dan, yes, it was. Saw a nice little play by Johnny Peralta and knows he has to hurry. And Matt Carpenter with a no-look grab.
Look what I found, huh?
That is many years of baseball training right there, knowing where it's going to bounce and getting your face out of the way at the same time. Nice play.
Brings in Curtis Granderson, a shift against the center fielder of the Mets. Granderson did not start last night with Jaime Garcia on the mound. And it's been a struggle here in the month of August, hitting just 169, 224 overall. It's got some pop, though. 20 home runs. And he hits it the other way, slicing down the left field line, and a foul ball. Hyundai pitch arsenal here for Carlos Martinez. The fastball, the change, a slider, and curve. That changeup can be very tough, especially against the left-handed hitters.
Well, when he brings that fastball at 95, which he started the night off tonight, you got that changeup, you drop down at 85. It makes it tough, especially when he's been starting games at 92.
Back to Carlos. Underhands to Carpenter.
Like we talk about right there, 98 miles an hour on the TV, 99 in the stadium. You got to give a little bit, you know, you got to talk about it last night. Fastball, changeup. We're going to see a lot of pitching tonight. We're going to have a lot of time to talk about velocity and changeups and sliders. And this is a hitter's nightmare. Carlos Martinez is trying to figure out what he's going to do, because to me he's really unpredictable. He's not predictable even when you put down fastball, which fastball he's going to throw. And so it'd be tough to really stay with him and know what he's trying to do.
Well, Garcia yesterday 21 first pitch, or rather first inning pitches, and that is just number 8 here tonight from Carlos Martinez. A strike to Yoenis Cespedes. 6 game off the DL, and he has produced since he's come back. Backing up, Greg Garcia throws a strike to Carpenter, and a 1-2-3 for Carlos Martinez. His warm-up tosses. Anticipation here for game number 2 of this series. Leading it off, back in a familiar spot at the top of the lineup, it's Matt Carpenter. Followed by Jed Jerko and then Brandon Moss, Stephen Piscotty, Yadier Molina, Johnny Peralta, Randall Grichuk, Craig Garcia, and Carlos Martinez. Hard to imagine a guy like DeGrom would have this kind of line. But 8 runs, 13 hits, both career highs in just 5 innings of work in a loss against the Giants last time out. He's 7-6 on the year.
So you got Matt Carpenter back at the top. What do you think? You like it here?
I do. I mean, the numbers just bear it out. He seems to be more comfortable in this spot. Say it all the time. You think he could hit anywhere in the lineup. He's just such a good hitter. But for whatever reason, I mean, you played this game a long time. Certain guys thrive in different spots in a lineup, and that's Carpenter at the top.
Yeah, I think that the numbers speak for themselves, like you said. Even in the last 8 games, only hitting .219. Leadoff hitters, a lot of strikeouts. You know, I wonder if it's just he knows that when he goes out there, it's a fresh start. He can do whatever he wants. And then in the 3-hole, if there's a guy on base, he's got to change his approach immediately and really not get into his game plan. Maybe sometimes if you get up there in the 3rd hitter of the game and there's no one on, you can still work a little bit. But I think maybe you have to think about trying to drive the ball in the 3-hole.
Takes a strike. So 15 games back from the disabled list for Carpenter, only 3 driven in, and the average at 220. So Mike Matheny talked about trying to jumpstart him again by putting him back in this familiar spot in the lineup. Here's a 1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Prior to his last start, Jacob deGrom had given up just 2 runs in the previous 4. So he can be as tough as anybody. Former Rookie of the Year. Beat out Billy Hamilton and Colton Long back in 2014. That's taken high and did not go as they appeal down to 3rd. And the crew chief, Mike Winters. So they split the 4 games with San Francisco, and deGrom in 92 pitches was roughed up 13 hits. Here's a 3-2. And Carpenter drives it out to deep right. Going back, Jay Bruce at the wall. Goodbye. Back in the leadoff spot. Back to producing. 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, Danny, you got him back at the top of the lineup, and you got a 4-seam fastball. And only, and I'm saying this to be just 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he hit it a long way.
Jerko out to center and lines out to Curtis Granderson for the first out. 13th home run allowed by Jacob deGrom as we take a look at our Toyota key to the game.
Well, let's get right to it. We're talking about being ready to hit the fastball, and you saw Matt Carpenter right there go out and get a fastball up in the zone. Good at bat, home run, fastball, and then Jed Jerko going out there and going after the first fastball. It'll be interesting to see if his velocity stays in the mid-90s, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, his fastball has the highest velocity average in the entire baseball, and it's right up there, top 5, but right up there in the 97s, 98s consistently. So be interesting to see if he's pitching at 94, 95, what he's gonna do.
Right now he's got to feel a little shell shock after what happened in his previous start. 2 hard hit balls to start this game, and now it's Brandon Moss. Moss is in left field tonight. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. It's a fastball count, and that's what Moss was gearing up for.
Well, you know that your velocity is down. You, as a pitcher, are looking up there. You know how you feel. It's a lot different 94, 95 than it is 99. Just that extra life.
Well, we saw Jaime Garcia pitching on extra days rest last night for the Cardinals. Took him a while just to get a feel for it. And that's the same now going on with Jacob deGrom. Normally, extra days rest, it really benefits him. Pitch taken high, and he went. Punched him out, and Moss glaring down at the third base umpire, Mike Winters.
Take a look at the fastball right here out of the zone. Tough to tell if he went right there. Mike Winters thought maybe so. That's a tough one to take as a hitter. Even when it's borderline, even if you're wrong, you feel like you didn't really go out there, and you know when you've gone.
Piscotty on the first pitch, taps it foul. Monday pitch arsenal on Jacob deGrom. Fastball, slider, the curve, and changeup. As Jimmy mentioned, very good fastball, mid to high 90s. So a couple of good sliders already in this game. One of those was to Brandon Moss. Here's the 0-1. Steven kind enough to have lunch with a lot of fans today. The speaker series here at the ballpark, and had the chance to visit with Steven for about 40-45 minutes. Really entertained the crowd. Did a great job. We had folks from New York. We had folks from his hometown in California that specifically flew in to hear from him. Some from 5 hours away drove in just for the luncheon today.
It's a pretty nice deal too, because you don't see that happen very often. A guy that knows he's probably going to be in the lineup and take time out of his day early, hang out around the ballpark, and long day of talking.
Couple of hops hit to second to Kelly Johnson. Solo home run by Carpenter, number 16. RBI number 57. 1 inning in the books. 1-0 St. Louis. As we move to the top of the second, the Cardinals defense around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Brandon Moss in left, Randall Grichuk in center, Steven Piscotty is in right. Peralta, Garcia, Jerko, and Carpenter along the infield. Molina is behind the plate. When he is right, that first inning very indicative of a positive, what could be, for Carlos Martinez, and that means a lot of ground balls.
Look, that sinker is amazing, and if he just stays down in the zone, the velocity is going to make these hitters in between with the good curveball and the good changeup. You're going to get inside and get deep on a lot of hitters, which causes a lot of ground balls.
There's another one, and it's pulled foul. Carlos this Saturday through his foundation, TsunamiWavesFoundation.org, has a washers tournament to raise some money. That's fought off. It may drop. Long way to go for Peralta. Can't get there. And Jay Bruce on his way to second base with a bloop double. The shift taketh and it giveth away.
That was a long run for Johnny. He almost got there.
Matter of fact, during the All-Star break, Martinez went back to the Dominican and delivered 500 backpacks filled with school supplies for kids back in his hometown. And this Saturday, that washers tournament will take place, and you can find out more at TsunamiWavesFoundation.org. Always like to hear about the guys doing special things in the community.
It's pretty impressive to go back to the DR over just a three and a half day break, and especially, you know, a lot of times you can't get out on Sunday, so
right.
It's Monday, be back Wednesday. This year they had Thursday off, but you just never know. A couple days there and back, and that's good to hear.
There's a fly ball, shallow left, tailing towards the line, and making the catch on the run, Brandon Moss for the first out. Well, speaking of doing things in the community, Adam Wainwright dedicated the Adam Wainwright Field, part of the Matthews Dickey Boys Club. Over 20 fields have been dedicated by the former players and personnel of the St. Louis Cardinals. And today it was Adam Wainwright Field. Congratulations to Cardinals Care and Adam Wainwright, his family. Well, this is not good news, obviously, for Terry Collins. Jay Bruce will come out of this game, and I'm not sure if he did this when he was circling around first base on that bloop double. Something didn't seem to be right, and so his night is through. Alejandro Diaz will come in for Bruce.
And you said you thought Terry Collins was pulling his hair out last night.
Right.
It's already started again tonight.
Well, you think about it, Cespedes, this is only the 6th game back off the DL for him. And here at the plate, this is the 5th game back off the DL for Asdrubal Cabrera. So they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. Here's Jay Bruce going to first. Making that turn.
He was feeling it right away, and just
try to grimace a little bit.
Yeah, try to stay with it and just probably be smart. Get out of there and stop it from getting worse.
So Diaz now at second base, and here is Cabrera. Cabrera lines it into right center field, and this game is tied. He'll stop at second base, and it's a 1-1 game. So 2 doubles in the inning and a tie ball game. Drives in his 36th. From the left side of the plate, he's got more power, more extra base hits, more home runs, and he picks up a double. He doubled here last night.
See him get out there around that. Does a changeup or a sinker? I missed the velocity, but got to get out there and get around it. But he's been swinging the last 2 days. I mean, swinging the bat good last night. It's a good swing right there.
It's a changeup that he left up. And so now it's Kelly Johnson. That one caught Molina. Neil Walker, who is their everyday second baseman, he and his wife celebrated the birth of their first child yesterday, and he'll be back with the team on Friday. So Kelly Johnson gets the start tonight. He came off the bench in game 1. Peralta way off the line at third base. Positioned perfectly right to him. Two outs, and it brings in Travis d'Arnaud. You know, the shift can be a little tricky when you have a runner at second base and you're playing a left-handed batter to pull.
Well, and you also have a guy throwing 97 miles an hour, and that's the thing. If he throws a sinker down and away to a lefty, even though he's a dead pull hitter, just right there you've seen two good left-handed hitters literally get the bat knocked out of their hands. Jay Bruce bloop double, and then right there with Kelly just getting eaten up and hitting a little ground ball to third. But that's where you got to be careful, depending on what pitcher's out there on the mound, if that shift is really worth it that night. You know, the shift sometimes is the course of the entire season against most pitchers, but Carlos Martinez is not most pitchers, and I would definitely be aware of over shifting in games that he is pitching.
So 2 outs, a count of 1 ball, no strikes. Martinez had to really kind of gather himself back after that pitch that was up in the zone. One ball, 1 strike. Sawed him off on a pitch that exploded back in, and Martinez is there at the bag. Mets strand a runner. They pick up a run. They tie it up. It's 1-1 midway through 2. The bottom of the first, he's back in the top spot in the lineup. Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Matt will tell you, Dan, as you probably already know, that his approach doesn't change no matter where he hits in the lineup. Tonight he's in the leadoff spot. Mike Matheny told me that while Carpenter is an outstanding leadoff hitter, and there's no question about it, he's convinced if he continued to hit third, you'd see the same thing from Matt. But he says it's his job to put his players in the best situation for success. Matheny told me in regard to Carpenter, trying to get him right is obviously very important to this ball club. We'll see if being at the top of the order can help. Dan, the Cards are trying to get back on the roll. Mike says obviously putting pieces in the right place can help. That means Carpenter back in the leadoff spot, and it's already paying off.
Jimmy, how often is he asked about being in that top spot? You're here day in and day out, in and out of that clubhouse. Is he asked about it every single day?
He's asked about it quite a bit. It started back in spring training where he said that he felt like he should be in the leadoff spot, not because he preferred it, but because he felt like he's the best guy for the job. It's obviously an important part of the lineup until someone else proves they can reach out and do it. And no one really has done it. And Carpenter has made himself into an elite level leadoff guy, so he's back.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. That's pulled foul off the bat of Yadier Molina. At his 9th 3-hit game of the season. He's really hit the Mets well in 4 games, 7 for 13. Leads all catchers in doubles with 27. 3rd in hits. And he's had a heck of a second half. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That's hit out of play. So the last 8 games, Carpenter, when he's number 3, look at the other Cardinals, what they've done, hitting leadoff. There's just a comfort level that he has at the top spot.
You know what? And like Mike said, what I said was, you leave him out there, he's probably going to do what he does in the leadoff spot. And what you said was, I'd like to see him back in the leadoff spot and hits a home run. So I guess you're winning this battle right now.
I think he brought up a good point where you get somebody in front of him, not to say that it doesn't happen when he's hitting in the leadoff spot, but maybe a different sense of responsibility and approach in his at-bats hitting number 3.
He probably doesn't, like he said, he doesn't think he's changing his approach, but I'm willing to bet, because I've been there, the anxiety level is different in the order when there's guys on base constantly, and I think that can start right from the beginning of the game. Like the first at-bat sets the tone for your night, And if he can go up there and really take his time, take his pitches like he does, he can set himself up for the rest of the day. If he goes up there and there's a guy on second with nobody out or with a runner on and he's trying to drive him in right away, he doesn't get to take the pitches that he wants. He doesn't get to do the things he likes to do.
Out to deep right. That's off the wall. Yachty digging for second. And he picks up another double. His 28th of the year. That's now Curtis Granderson in right field as he shifted from center to right to make room for Diaza with Jay Bruce out, and he was playing very shallow.
Yachty hits this ball right on the barrel, stays back. Didn't think it was going to go that far. Curtis Granderson with a nice play, and I think if he throws this ball on the money, Yachty might be out, but Yachty beats it. Beats the throw into second base, and like you said, 29th double of the season.
And it brings in Johnny Peralta hitting .254. Go ahead run at second base. Big gap in left center. Mentioned to you before the game the stride of Jacob deGrom. And it is a long stride, and he's a tall guy, long, lanky, but where he finishes, it might be the furthest of any pitcher that's in baseball today. Generates a lot of power with that drive. Yachty is running and runs right into an out. Trying to sneak one by deGrom.
Really tried to time it right there, and a couple pitches. Get out there and pay attention what's going on in the pass, and you can see right here he thought he was going to the plate right there, and he just took one extra step or one extra look. Caught Yachty cheating. Good or bad, we'll see, but trying to get to third base with one out. It's a coin toss on if that's right or wrong.
So it goes down as a caught stealing. The count of 2 balls, no strikes on Johnny Peralta. Cespedes is in left, Diaza in center, Curtis Granderson in right. Around the horn presented by Dobbs. Reyes, Cabrera, Johnson, and Loney along the infield. And d'Arnaud is behind the plate. So deGrom now working from the windup instead of the stretch. Foul back. He had a terrific performance against the Cardinals at Citi Field last year. 1 hit through 8 innings. Easily could have gone back out for the 9th. The pitch count was low. And in talking with the hitters, they mentioned this stride. They feel it's like he's right on you because he's tall, he's big, and the long stride. And all of a sudden, the ball just explodes out of his hand.
Especially it's tough when you play in New York, which you don't get to play in very often. Just 3 games a year, and some of the guys that don't get to play all the time get out there and face a guy like this, and for some reason every backdrop is so different. When you get to like New York or both New Yorks and the stadiums are so big, pitcher sometimes can look like he's right on top of you.
So here it is, Jimmy. Long stride of Jacob deGrom. Finishes with that stiff leg, but that's a long stride.
It'd be interesting to see when Carlos goes back out there. It looked like there's some dirt about where his heel was, is about where it looks like where Carlos Martinez's foot comes down. So maybe we'll keep an eye on that and see if there's a big difference.
Here is Randall Grichuk. Quickly out to visit Travis d'Arnaud. Well hit, left center, off the bat of Grichuk. This ball will carry to the wall. So the second double in this inning off the wall. The first was by Molina in right. This one by Grichuk into left center. Ball just jumps off his bat.
Another good short swing. Little spinning slider. When he first hit this, I thought this might have been a homer, but you see he just stays behind it. That swing is so short. Right off the wall for a nice easy double.
Thought the same thing, and then I took a peek at Grichuk, and he was running hard out of the batter's box.
I did notice that, and I was wondering, is he just running to run, like the courtesy run and running hard because he's a young player, but I'm sure he knows when he hits it.
Garcia, base hit into right. Here comes Grichuk. Here comes the throw. To the plate, he is out at the plate. Granderson with the outfield assist from right field to get Randal Grichuk.
That is so close. I almost thought Randal got his hand in there, but you can see, you can kind of see that it looked like he tagged him.
With Carlos Martinez on deck, you can certainly understand why Chris Maloney would challenge Curtis Granderson. So missed opportunity for the Cardinals. It's 1-1 after 2. To right by Garcia. We saw the replay to see what kind of jump he got. Pretty good jump with 2 outs. And it's one of the reasons why, if you're a middle infielder, you dance behind that runner. Try to keep him a little bit closer to the bag at second. He did that. And sure enough, it cost Randal Grichuk maybe a step or two, and that was the difference in that play as DeGrom rounds out.
The ball was just hit so hard. It's so hard to send a guy there, not send a guy there. I mean, the ball one hop right in the glove, nice and easy for Curtis Granderson. It wasn't even a super strong throw. It was a perfect throw, but not a humongous arm, but a smart player, and threw the ball right on the money.
He was also playing fairly shallow for Garcia. That was a factor as well. And then if you're Chris Maloney, pitcher on deck, you're saying you got to go for it. Jose Reyes at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. So I agree with sending him.
That's all that matters.
Here's a 1-1. Popped up. Peralta. And Molina out of room. So 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And this didn't look like it felt too good right here. And I think he thought he had a beat on it.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about last night. He saw where he was in terms of seeing where the railing comes. And last year, that netting isn't there. And I'm not saying he doesn't realize where he's at, but,
no, but you're right.
There's something to keep in mind.
He's been playing here for what, 10 years
exactly.
now? I mean, it's something you got to really get used to. And the thing also too with last night's ball with Johnny Peralta, he's seeing that ball from third base all the way. Where Yadi's got to stand up, take the stuff off, and run over there at an angle, and literally he's chasing down a foul ball blind for a few minutes, or a few seconds, I'm sorry, where Johnny's running straight ahead and he's got a little bit more time to work with. Usually that ball that gets down closer to third is going to stay in the air a little bit longer, and Yadi's just, it's a bang bang play, and you always see those catchers, it's like timing, and you don't have enough time to like look, get up there, and you saw he thought he was going to catch it, so he just kept going for it.
Granderson, a ground ball to first, taken there by Carpenter. 8-pitch inning, couple of ground outs and a strikeout for Carlos Martinez. We're tied. It's 1-1. Compliments of Monsanto, the batting practice hat. Cardinals and the A's this Sunday. Cardinals.com/promotions. It's Carlos Martinez, Matt Carpenter, and Jed Jerko. We are tied. It's 1-1. Molina was caught stealing. If not, the Cardinals would have the lead. Martinez hitting .233, no home runs. He's driven in 4 this season. He's going to show bunt, take a strike, and there it is. Saw Martinez in that first inning. I mean, he was huffing and puffing. He was out of breath.
Tell you what, I just got a text message how hot it is out there in the stands on the field. I can't even imagine pitching right now. But actually, right before we showed him huffing and puffing, the ground ball was to Peralta, and he threw over there. But because of the shift, Carlos had to hustle over to third base. And then he's working so quickly tonight, you go back right to him on the mound, and yet he's out of breath. I mean, there's not a lot of air floating around down there on the field.
Here's the 0-2. Jacob deGrom out of Stetson University, 9th round pick in 2010, former Rookie of the Year, as we mentioned. His ERA is in the top 5 of the National League. Kyle Hendricks now at number 1, 2.16. They're saying, well, where's Clayton Kershaw? Because of the injury and the back issues that he's had, he's no longer qualified for the league leaders. Bumgarner, Syndergaard, Arrieta, and deGrom. Martinez hits a ground ball to short, taken there by Cabrera. Rocket Arms, presented by Quicken Loans. Syndergaard and DeGrom, highest average fastball velocity. So these two hard throwers. Syndergaard, the Cardinals will not see him in this series. Jacob DeGrom obviously going tonight. It'll be Seth Lugo, who is 0-2. He'll go tomorrow. Carpenter takes a pitch low. There is, if you're wondering, a clubhouse barber for the Mets, but neither DeGrom or Syndergaard use them. That's obvious.
That's stating the obvious for sure.
1 ball and 1 strike. Back in the first inning, Matt Carpenter with home run number 16 into the Redbird bullpen. DeGrom apparently says that the only time that he doesn't like his long hair is sometimes it wakes him up when he's sleeping.
I just don't have that problem, and I'm so glad.
Did you ever have that problem?
Not that long.
Southern California boy, you know, big surfer that you are.
You always got to have a mullet in high school a little bit. You know, I've had some long hair in the football days.
Everybody had a mullet at some point.
Hanging out of the helmet. There's a few of them in there.
Snellman there on the right. We saw him in relief of Jonathan Neese as Carpenter strikes out. The bullpen of the Mets recording 26 outs in that win in Game 1. Missouri Lottery Fox Track says Carpenter may have chased a pitch. He did, out of the zone. Jonathan Neese, by the way, goes on the disabled list with his sore knee. Eric Goodell is picked up. Steven Matz, they anticipate him making a start on Tuesdays. He'll come off the DL. There's a strike to Jerko. Here's the 0-1. It's a 4-game stretch. July 28th, August 13th. DeGrom was basically unhittable. And then he goes to San Francisco and can't get anything right. Terry Collins saying that the velocity was there, it was good, but location was off. Good changeup in his career, and it's a short one so far, but 5 starts following an outing in which he only goes 5 innings. His ERA in the next start is 1.64.
See him making the adjustment with Jerko right here with the changeups.
Base hit into right.
Knowing Jed is a good fastball hitter, tried to do the best he could to keep him off the fastball, but they got to throw it eventually. And he threw it right there.
It's already the 5th Cardinal hit.
Jed staying back behind that ball, just driving it the other way. Good hands.
Quick hands.
He's been doing a really good job. I mean, just seems like the more we watch him, the more he just keeps going. It surprises me a little bit. Like you said, these guys, some of these guys, another one right here, expected to be on the bench most of the year, supply a little bit of power off the bench, and they're out there almost every day right now and doing it. I mean, it is nice to see.
Be interesting when you have Diaz come back, Holiday comes back at some point, and the Cardinals are anticipating both will come back. But who plays? I mean, these guys that have been what you say as the season began, bench players, but now all of a sudden you're looking at a situation where they're playing every day, and they have produced. Moss, a base hit into left center. Jerko winds up at third. I'm not sure if he was just deking the outfielder or if he just knew he had it in the bag to get to third.
It looked like from up here, it's kind of giving him the little wave with the hands, like, come on now,
Me too.
keep running.
Let's go. Get to third.
Maybe he was already in that next gear and we just couldn't tell. And the good swing by Brandon Moss.
So now you have Piscotty, one of the best with runners in scoring position. Grounded out to second, first time up, 1-1 our score here in the bottom of the third. Outfield is straight away and deep. This is where Piscotty can be so dangerous. There's one thing to be book smart, and we know he's book smart. Goes to Stanford, has a degree. There's another thing to be baseball smart, understand the game and have a high IQ. He's got both, and he's got a great understanding of what pitchers are trying to do to him in these spots.
Well, and I think that what he does from talking to him and listening to stories that other people interview him, like yourself, really makes it simple. You just go out there and look for a fastball, which is the way you're taught, and make your adjustments. It is so hard to adjust to the fastball if you're looking for something slower. You can't physically speed up your bat. You can get lucky from time to time, but it's a lot easier to slow yourself down and adjust to a breaking ball or a changeup than it is to look for a breaking ball or changeup and try to speed up the fastball. It's just, I don't know if it's even possible.
Made his debut back on July 21st of last season, and he hit the ground running. Here's a 2-0 pitch. 2-1. So he's seen all off-speed pitches here in the first 3 of this plate appearance.
Oh, the changeup, just enough to throw you off. Did the same thing with Jed Jerko, and see if he doesn't have to eventually give in and throw a heater here.
The 2-1 pitch to Piscotty. Change up again.
Another change up.
4 off-speed pitches in this at bat.
Everything below the 90-mile-an-hour mark. First 4 pitches, and as a hitter, you just can't give up. You cannot give up on the fastball.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Piscotty. Fastball, check swing, did not go.
You know, it's funny, I was talking to Torrey Hunter the other day. We said this last night, but in this part of the game came up, and he said that Kirby Puckett told him to, when guys get on base, guys on second and third, as a right-hander, you want to look off speed or be ready for off speed. And he said, I necessarily can't look for an off speed pitch.
Backhanded at third by Reyes. Long throw. Piscotty is safe, and the Cardinals go back on top. It's now 2-1.
Like Reyes slipped right there. Yep. Reyes slipped right there, and Steven runs well enough to beat that out. He runs really well for a big guy. We've seen him run in the outfield, but that's a tough play for a third baseman.
So a 2-out rally, 3 consecutive base hits for the Cardinals. You know, Piscotty may have had the best night at the plate for the Cardinals last night, but it didn't show up because he was hitting rockets left and right. Then Cespedes robbed him of a home run, and then he had the base hit late to left field. But
and then today you get a little bouncer down the line, and turns into a base hit and an RBI. So what I was saying too with Torrey Hunter was, he said I can't really look for the breaking ball because it's physically impossible to speed up with a fastball, and I don't want to get hit in the face. So he said all he has to do is be more aware of breaking balls in situations where guys are in scoring positions. And he said he really helped out with him over his career. Just slowed down a little bit, kind of keep your eyes a little bit more wide open.
Little bouncer that's hit to second base on the first pitch. Kelly Johnson puts it away. Cardinals have left 3 on, but Steven Piscotty has given the Cardinals the lead with RBI number 69. Sore shoulder. Let's check in with Jim, who has more.
Yeah, Dan Waka told me he's just been resting the shoulder and starting to work in some shoulder exercises. He also told me he expects to start a throwing program as early as this weekend. He knows he has a lot of work to do, but he told me he's, quote, very optimistic that he will pitch again this season. And Dan Waka knows a return this season could mean pitching out of the bullpen, but he told me, quote, I'm up for anything. I just want to get back and help the team, and it appears he's making progress in that direction, Dan.
And Jimmy, there's a lot of guys right now banged up on the disabled list. Most notable from the Cardinals offense would be Holiday and Aledmys Diaz, and I know you reported a little bit about it last night, but let's update the fans again.
Diaz is going to see a specialist on Monday, and if he gets a good report on Monday, they're going to, what they say, amp up his baseball activities. He was on the field taking some grounders yesterday. He's doing some limited things. Matt Holliday is in Jupiter working with their rehab team there. He just started a rehab program yesterday, and the Cardinals remain optimistic that they will get Holliday back this season, and they say that Diaz is a little ahead of where Holliday is right now, so that's pretty good news too.
All right, thank you, Jim. No balls, 2 strikes on Yoenis Cespedes, grounded out to short, first time up. Outfield is deep. Look at that cut by Cespedes on an 0-2 pitch. You think the game's changed a little bit?
Yeah, he just took an hellacious hack, 0-2, and didn't think twice about it. There you go again. Got to look at it.
Here's the 0-2. Popped up and out of play. There's a report this afternoon that said Cespedes will not opt out of his contract. I mentioned last night that he has 3 opt-outs in his deal. He signed a 3-year extension with the Mets and can opt out all 3. So he's decided to play, at least from the report, at least 1 more season in New York. The 0-2. That's it, out of play again.
Tell you what, I've heard a lot of good and bad stories about this young man, but what I've seen in the last just night and a half, it's impressive.
He can flat out play.
Athletic, got a good arm, quick bat, ridiculous power. I mean, so far so good from what I've been watching.
Seen him with Detroit, Oakland, Boston, now the Mets, and he's been one of the best players in those series against the Cardinals. That's where Yachty wanted it. He wanted it down and got it there. It's the defense last night. This liner off the bat of Piscotty. That took one hit away. And then later with Piscotty up, scaling the wall. Here's a 1-2. Fly ball into right center. Randall Grichuk makes the catch for the first out. Brings in Diaza, and this will be his first plate appearance. He came around to score on the double by Cabrera, and he also came into the ball game after Jay Bruce went out with a cramp in his right calf. So it's only a cramp in the right calf for Jay Bruce.
That's good news. Terry can put some of his hair back in that he's been pulling out. Poor guy. Talk about teams being beat up. Get two of probably the worst out of the group right here on this field tonight.
You know Terry Collins very well, don't you?
He was our manager in Anaheim for a couple years. Yep. Got to know him pretty well.
So I got to put you on the spot. Did you like playing for him?
I did, but the last year I was there was the year that I got hurt. And I think for me that was my most challenging year. And you can look at Jay Bruce. Looked like you can tell he was wincing as he was running. I think sometimes when you get in that position as a player, you get out there and think, okay, it's going to go away. And if it keeps locking up, it gets a little scary. You don't know if it's a cramp, if it's a pull. Probably made the right decision, get out of there before he ends up getting hurt.
Sometimes you overcompensate and do something else. Here's James Loney, flied out to left. First base has been an issue for the Mets in injuries, so they went out and got Loney. Not known for his power, only 6 home runs. He was coached, by the way, in high school by Matt Carpenter's dad, and these two were teammates in the state of Texas. One point, Matt's dad was the USA Today National High School Coach of the Year. Here's a 1-1. Fly ball into center, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Martinez. Midway through 4, Redbirds on top by the score of 2-1. coming up, and that will be Saturday. It features Chris Carpenter, Joe Torre, Terry Moore, and Sam Braden. And it is presented by Edward Jones. The Hall of Fame induction ceremonies will be Saturday at 2, and that is open to the public. So come on down. Here's Johnny Peralta, struck out his first time up, and strike one. I think you see sometimes, Jim, with that sore hand and thumb, and you take it for granted, just squeezing the bat and how hard it is to swing a bat night in, night out with guys that are busting you in with sinkers at 95 miles an hour and trying to make contact on a pitch like that.
Well, the thing about injuries during the season is a lot of them that put you out for any length of time other than a 15-day will linger a little bit no matter what. And then especially the hands obviously are the biggest part of your daily routine, and it's just so hard to get 100% and just don't get any time off. And yeah, I mean, like you said, especially being a right-handed hitter, you're getting fastballs inside and busting you in, and they know that was an issue. So yeah, I can't. I mean, coming back, it's the toughest thing unless you just get lucky and it just goes away.
1-2 the count. Players will tell you after day one of spring training they never feel the same until October. And then when their postseason run is through.
You're tired after the first game in spring training. You've already been going at it for 2 weeks straight.
Peralta with a fly ball out to right center field. And Diaz is there for the catch. BJC Healthcare difference maker, what we were talking about earlier, the ERAs. And again, Clayton Kershaw not listed there because he no longer qualifies, having spent so much time on the DL. But DeGrom is number 5, and his teammate Noah Syndergaard number 3, and Kyle Hendricks number 1 in ERA in the National League. Cubs won again today over San Diego. Hendricks picked up the win. Randall Grichuk, 1 out, nobody on, doubled off the wall in left center and then was thrown out at the plate on a base hit by Garcia, who waits on deck. On the bench tonight for the Cardinals, left side Wong and Hazelbaker, right side Rosario and Pham. That's well hit into deep right field. Will this one carry? Out of here! Randall Grichuk, a double, and now a solo home run, and the Cardinals extend their lead to 3-1.
See right here, just another smooth swing. Short, stays back, and just hits the barrel. And that just shows you how strong he is and how good he can be. He's not really doing anything special. He's just getting his hands out there and hitting the ball on the barrel, and look how far it goes. And that's impressive right there.
Colton Wong has picked up the duties of throwing the water in the face of a home run hitter with Martinez on the mound. So what I'm told is that a trainer will give Martinez the water. The players that are in the lineup have asked him, whichever trainer it is, to only get a little bit, because if you get too much, Carlos gets a little too over anxious with it, a little too hard in the face. Sometimes it hurts their eyes.
Well, and I don't mean, last thing you really want to be is more wet when you're out there on the field. I mean, really? It gets down your shirt. Your jersey's already wet and hot. I mean, it's just, especially sometimes you go out there, you change, you run back up, you hit, and then he's throwing water back in your face. But yeah, I've seen a couple guys kind of choke up and gag, and you up the nose and in the eyes. I mean, that's, wouldn't be excited about that.
A strike to Garcia. So DeGrom has given up a couple of home runs here tonight. Number 16 by Carpenter, and that's number 17 by Grichuk, in his second in this series. 1 out walk, and it brings in Carlos Martinez. Martinez has 3 sacrifices this year. But with a 3-1 lead and a guy like Martinez, and they'll do this again with Adam Wainwright, even Mike Leake, show bunt, pull back, swing away.
You know, sometimes Mike might just make him bunt just so he doesn't extend himself out there at the plate. Let him bunt, get a guy, move him over. You got carp hitting, get him off the field. Literally, there's times that I've heard him in the dugout be like, I just want him off the field. Let him come down, sit down, relax, get ready to pitch.
1 out runner at first. Garcia showing bunt and hits it up the middle, bobbled by Johnson, and everybody is safe. So
scratch that. Let's let him run the bases.
Show bunt, swing away, and that's what they did.
I like the idea. Just kind of hoping he would just hit it. Well, I guess if you're going to swing, you might as well swing for a base hit. But you know, I was just a lot of times. There's a lot of times during my career here with St. Louis when I learned from Tony was you get in a situation where your pitcher is as good as the other pitcher or even better, and umpire's not good or something's not going your way. He's like, hey, the deal's in our favor. He's going to beat him if it stays this way. So it's a 3-1 game. I really just want Martinez to concentrate on pitching, and that's kind of what I was saying was I don't mind if I am the manager myself and I'm just going to let him bunt and come back and sit down. That's kind of where I was going with that.
That is ruled a hit for Carlos Martinez.
But I'm sure he'll take that hit any day.
Now Carpenter, who is homered and struck out. DeGrom has struck out 3 tonight. See, the shortstop Cabrera is near the bag at second to keep Garcia close. Outfield is straight away. Here's the 0-1. A little bit low. Albert Pujols with home run number 584 in his career as he moves at a Big Mac for 10th place all time on the home run list. That one caught the home plate umpire, so Travis d'Arnaud says, I've been there before. Gives him a little chance to catch his breath. So Pujols at 584, just 2 back of Frank Robinson, and closing in on 600 for his career. He's going to have 30 and 100 again this year. One and two the count. Runners at first and second. See the Cardinals against DeGrom here. It just seems like they're grinding through these at bats. They're really making him work.
Well, I'll tell you, sometimes when you face the best pitchers with the lowest ERAs, the guys that throw hard with good stuff, you do focus a little bit more. You know you need to, or you're going to have a long night, especially with guys with good stuff. You just don't want to go up there swinging because he's not going to just give you pitches to hit right down the middle. Kind of get you locked in a little bit more.
And it's hit to first and a double play. Lines it to Loney, and they double off Carlos Martinez. Hits into some tough luck. No one catching this though. On a 1-1 pitch, number 17 for Grichuk, 424 feet. An opposite field shot. 3-1 Cardinals. whether it be pitching overseas or here in the United States. So Yu Darvish, his first career homer. It'll be Cabrera, Johnson, and d'Arnaud. 3-1 Cardinals here in the top of 5. I think this will be the point that you were making, Jimmy, just getting Martinez off the bases. Let's see how he reacts. What kind of inning he can put together. DeGrom was 74 pitches. That was number 42 on the night for Carlos Martinez. Cabrera doubled to right center, picked up an RBI. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. A look from section 267 here at the ballpark.
Danny, how do you know that that is 267? That is, you've been here so long, you just know where the seats are.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Every camera angle, every nook and cranny. There's Phil Nichols. We have a camera shooting a cameraman. And what's his shot? There it is. That's 267.
You're on it tonight.
That's inside, and it's 2-2.
This is kind of what I was talking about right here, Danny. And just sometimes when these pitchers hit, run the bases, get excited about getting a hit. Over my career, I've noticed that coming back out here and getting locked back down is tough on some guys. And
well, with a changeup on 3-2.
Hopefully he's going to prove me wrong and gather it back together. And he made a really good pitch right here, 3-2.
And Jimmy, what I like when I see Martinez, and I thought the other day it was exaggerated in a positive, but just how compact his delivery was to the plate, where sometimes you'll see him fall off to that first base side.
Well, I thought it looked like that. We had talked about that earlier. It looked like he started to kind of fall off a little bit, and you can see right there he's just kind of picked it back up, and took him a couple pitches to find it again, and right back to work.
There's Kelly Johnson, grounded out to third. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes, so regaining that form.
And there's a lot of guys over the course of my career that I remember hearing people talk about, oh great, he got a hit. It's going to take him a while to get back, concentrate on the mound again. A lot of pitchers like to hit, and they get caught up in that, and all of a sudden you can lose focus. I mean, there's a lot of energy that goes and gets put into focusing on your job. And when you have to try and do 2 things, it's like when you talk about when the hitter is having a tough night and you all of a sudden see him drop a ball in the infield or the outfield, people start to wonder right away, did they take it out there on defense with them? Well, pitchers do that as well.
That was the first 2-ball count that he had the entire night. He's 1-2 here on Kelly Johnson. And a base hit into right field. First hit that he's allowed since back in the 2nd inning. That had been 9 in a row sent down by Martinez. It brings in d'Arnaud. Grounded out to first baseman Matt Carpenter. He's 0 for 1. Carlos Martinez with just 3 hits allowed. Here's a guy that gets a ton of double plays. Because of all the ground balls, Martinez has induced the most double plays, 25. And he's so good against right-handers. OPS of 504 against him from right-handed hitters. Only Max Scherzer has a lower OPS against those right-handed batters.
That's just that late life, that late movement, tying guys up. He's got the best combination of what pitchers need to be successful, which is velocity 1 with late life, but then that just good stuff. It's just sharp breaking curveball. You don't have to have all 4 pitches. You got to have 2 that move in different directions, and he has got more than that. But that extra life and That good solid breaking ball right there. It just keeps hitters guessing, consistently guessing which way is the ball going to go. That's what made Greg Maddux so good. Even though he didn't have the velocity, he had that late movement, which could throw you a fastball that would run, and he could throw the same pitch in the same spot and it would run the other way. And it was just, he just didn't know which way the ball was going to go every time he threw it.
Now Jacob deGrom grounded back to Martinez, first time up. 2 outs, runner at first. I mean, look how simple that delivery was on that pitch. Now granted, it's deGrom at the plate, but that's the kind of delivery he had in that day game in his last start against Houston.
It looks like this whole inning he's kind of backed off a little bit with effort, as far as not max effort out there. It looks like he's basically been playing wiffle ball, but still got to get the ball down even against the pitcher.
It's a base hit for deGrom, 2 hits in the inning, and it brings in Reyes.
Really need to see him right now get back to it, focus, and get out of this inning right here, or we'll be talking about, was that base hit the reason why the energy changed?
So 2 outs and 2 on. Reyes grounded out to third and then struck out on a changeup back into third. Runners at first and second. That change up again.
That is filthy. You can tell by Reyes' swing that he was looking fastball the whole way.
That's what he got from Alex Reyes last night. He got that change up. Remember his reaction? Just kind of like, what was that?
It's not,
he struck out.
It's not fair.
But Derek Lilliquist had some interesting comments when asked about Martinez this past week, as Molina will go to slow him down just a bit. But Derek said he's a #1 pitcher's mindset away from being a #1. He's got everything to go with being that guy. It's just going to be up to him being mentally focused to pitch and stay in every game.
It's all about being young too. It takes guys a little bit of time, a few years, to really hone it in for 9 innings or for 7 innings. And he's always been that 1 inning away from being so dominant in the start. And it's an inning like this where Yadi's doing a great job right out. He probably went out there and said, hey, this is that inning. You gotta pull it back together. And even though there's 2 outs and pretty good inning, you're still 1 pitch away from either getting out of it or giving up 2 runs. So don't forget, you got guys on out here, and let's get through this.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Reyes. Just missed.
But like I said, it's just like hitters. It's just like with Randal Grichuk. It takes a little bit of time to really figure out what you're doing or what you're capable of doing. And sometimes it takes you a couple years to figure out, hey, there's that 1 inning. I don't even know how I'm getting to it. It's just happening.
Change up out in front again, 2-2. Martinez came in 3rd in Major League Baseball in ground ball percentage. As we talked about, leads in double plays. So with 25 of them, and this being start number 24, doesn't need the double play here. He'd take a ground ball. He'd love a strikeout. And the 2-2 pitch to Reyes. Here she comes. Out of play.
You know, we had a guy in the stadium last night that everyone thought was a little over the top with how he prepared and what he went out and how he did his job. But I'll tell you what, Chris Carpenter never had those innings. There was never a cruising through a game and then 1 inning it just kind of fell apart, because he went out there from the first pitch of that inning and knew where he wanted to be and how he wanted to get there. And that's what I'm talking about. That mental edge of, you're not getting a hit off of me this entire night. Regardless, it's going to happen, but if you keep that focus and that edge, and he was that guy that did it every time he went out there. It's not always going to be perfect, but that's the mindset you have to have.
The 2-2 again to Reyes. Ground ball. This should do it. Carpenter will take it himself. Steps on the bag, and the Mets strand 2 here at the top of inning number 5. St. Louis with a lead of 3-1. Sports and outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. And by your local Volkswagen dealer. The bold and refreshing frozen strawberry lemonade is back, and it's only available at McDonald's. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for the Cardinals in the bottom of inning number 5. It's Jed Jerko, who is lined out to center and picked up a base hit to right, scored in the 3rd. First pitch popped up. Shortstop Cabrera, 1 away. With 1 out, it brings in Brandon Moss. Struck out on a check swing back in the 1st and a base hit to center in the 3rd. Mets come in trailing the Cardinals in the wild card by 3.5. They are 63 and 62. St. Louis at 66 and 58 this season. Moss looks at a strike. And it's 0-2. Shift is on here for Moss. The 0-2 taken high at 93. Next time you want to grab seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. So get the StubHub app today. The 2-2 hit out of play. Nice play made by a fan to our left, reaching over the railing. Pitch count at 80 for Jacob deGrom. That's to the backstop as he hit the ball.
You know, you're watching out of the corner of your eye, you have the monitor, you have the field, and all of a sudden you see something doesn't look quite right. By the time I focused in on where that ball ended up, it had already bounced back towards the hitter off the net. It's like, whoa.
Still pretty hard.
Yeah.
3-2 pitch. Moss a base hit into center. 2 for 3. Piscotty is 1 for 2. He finds himself in the cleanup spot. Sometimes he's batting 5th. He's been batted 3rd this year. Most lineups used. It's a part of our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. We bring that up with the big move tonight with Matt Carpenter going back in the leadoff spot.
I think maybe Mike will get a special award at the end of the year for that. I don't know. But tell you what, they're making the best out of what they got. Always said having an athletic team is one thing that can help you. And
Piscotty out to deep left. Get into Big Mac land. Get in there. Almost did. Launches that baby out to deep left. 2-run homer. Number 19, Piscotty.
See right there, making the adjustment on the breaking ball, and he was all over that breaking ball.
Steven Piscotty credits Mike Schilt, who is a minor league manager for the Cardinals at AAA a couple of years ago, as they changed his swing. They changed the plane of his swing. And as he describes it, he was more of a line drive hitter. And they went back and looked at video of Alex Rodriguez Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, others that could get underneath the ball, put that backspin on it, and get the loft and the lift out of his swing. And Piscotty grew up in the Bay Area, grew up an Oakland A's fan. When he was drafted by the Cardinals, they brought him to Busch Stadium. At that time, Mark McGwire was the hitting coach, had the chance to visit with him. And he said it was the best thing that they could do for a draft pick. You bring him to St. Louis, you dangle the carrot of being a major leaguer, of being somebody that's around here. See what it's like to be a major leaguer. And he said when you go through that and you see your boyhood idol, you want to be a part of this. But give him a lot of credit for changing the swing, and now he has become a power hitter.
Well, and sometimes that too can be just being able to get a young player to realize how to stay back, or how important it is to stay behind the baseball. And sometimes staying back will give you lift, and even just like that, off the end of the bat. But staying behind the ball will give you lift in the air, and that's the difference between top spin line drives and getting some backspin and carrying it out of the ballpark.
Brings in Grichuk, who is homered tonight, so DeGrom has given up 3 home runs. And for the Cardinals, it's 3 more hits in this inning. You know, DeGrom is one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. The Cardinals have 12 hits. And we're not through inning number 5 yet. 2 outs and a runner at first. Grichuk doubled off the wall in left center, and an opposite field solo home run. Kubota power stats concerning the power of Randal Grichuk. Highest slugging percentage since August 11th. Randall a couple of stints in the minor leagues, and he's come back up with a vengeance.
I've noticed from Randall in the last couple games and just the last week or so, a little bit more selective, a little bit more under control, not swinging at that slider that looks like a strike that ends up out of the zone. And when he gets a strike to swing at under control, you can see the damage that he creates. And last night and tonight, that's got to be the key, is you just got to get pitches to hit. Can't be worried about what if he throws me another one of those sliders. You just got to stay in the second, in the moment, and really just get after a strike.
1 ball, 1 strike on Grichuk. He's also done a better job of laying off that slider, and that's a pitch right there that he might have chased a month ago.
I was going to say even that pitch, but you can see how comfortable he looks right here. Just nice and confident. Really just getting. The great thing is he's got such a short swing, so he can stay in there longer than most people and get a pitch, especially with his power to right field, and drive that ball like that. And that's the pitch right there he's been having trouble with over the beginning half of the year, and swinging at that pitch, trying to really get out in front of pitches instead of letting the fastball or the slider get deep and allowing himself to get behind it and just hit it wherever it goes. That's the key to being a power hitter, is really just squaring up the ball. It doesn't matter if it can go line to line. You know you have the power to hit it out. Just can't try to hit it somewhere.
3-1 pitch to Grichuk.
Good changeup, ties him up a little bit right there. I think sometimes you predetermine as a power hitter or as a young player where you think the ball is going to go and what you're going to do with it, instead of really just seeing the ball come out of the hand and you're just going to square it up and whatever happens, happens.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. Right now, Terry Collins is thinking, well, can I get one more out of DeGrom? It doesn't look like it. He's going to go to his bullpen. Chevy called to the pen. Eric Goodell will come in. He was just called up. It was Jonathan Neese, who was put on the disabled list, and that's back-to-back starts in which Jacob DeGrom has been beat up. So Grichuk on base for the 3rd time, and it's 5-1 St. Louis. 6, 8 gallons or more. Now until September 29th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more info, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. So Jacob deGrom cannot get through 5 as he gives up 12 hits, 3 home runs tonight. Eric Goodell, 29th appearance, just recalled today. And the first pitch to Greg Garcia is taken for a ball. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. This is a Mets team that allowed 114 home runs, 3rd fewest in the major leagues. Cardinals with 3 tonight, team that leads the National League in homers. Goodell recalled from Las Vegas. He was with the Mets from May 12th until the 20th of this month, so a very short stint in the minor leagues. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Garcia fights it off, and it's out of play. Hyundai pitch arsenal for the right-hander. Two balls and 1 strike. 5-1. The Cardinals have the lead. Evens it up at 2-2.
You see, he came into the game, even though there's 2 outs, runners on first and second, he's going right to that split. So the first pitch at bat was the split. His second best pitch is the split. I was looking at that with the pitch arsenal and saw the 1% slider. I was just wondering if those are bad splits and bad curveballs. They don't know what else to call it, but never know where that splitter is going to go.
The 2-2 pitch to Garcia. So Goodell called up after Jonathan Neese was placed on the DL with a left knee injury. Goodell with a 4.18 ERA. 9 appearances for the Mets before being demoted back on August 20th. And that was to make room for right-hander Jim Henderson. How are your nachos, Jimmy?
I wish I was eating them right now. There's a set of nachos to my right that the young lady is eating. Another stat girl in the house tonight.
What's her name?
Haley Nicole Edmonds.
3-2. Inside, good at bat.
Keeping the stat position in the family. Went
Absolutely.
From Sutton now to Haley.
I can tell you they've been some of the best we've had all year.
Scoring some runs.
Martinez could really bust this game wide open. Picked up an infield hit back in the 4th. And he's also grounded out to short. Bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch, a strike. Here's the 0-1. That's back-to-back changeup. Some respect here for Martinez, or was that the splitter?
I think it's the same, but I was laughing at what you said with the respect. Carlos thought he was going to get himself a heater for sure. It's just a pitcher. He's not going to throw me the same pitch twice. Good action on that split-fingered fastball.
Carlos puts it in play. Hit to third. Reyes slings it over to first, and the Cardinals strand. The bases loaded, but they do some damage. A 2-run homer by Stephen Piscotty. Third RBI tonight. He's now up to 71. 19th home run. And some smiles all around. Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. The Dodgers with 27 players on the disabled list. That's now a major league record. Chris Tillman placed on the 15-day DL, dealing with inflammation in the right shoulder. And Houston Street, closer of the Angels, season-ending surgery on his right knee. Greater coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile. Jim Hayes is with us. Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer. Dan McLaughlin. I was thinking about this earlier in our speaker series. You know, I look at Stephen Piscotty, young guy. That right there could be the future face of this franchise.
I'm with you on that one. I've been saying that quietly because I haven't been up here in the booth, but I thought that last year when I was down coaching spring training the year before this year, even the year before last, I thought this kid's going to be the guy when he gets up to the big leagues and gets some experience. You could see he was the one that has been most steady in his demeanor. You know, and it seems like those guys are the guys that really can come up here and stick, and he's been doing just that.
Inside to Curtis Granderson. I asked him about the move. Remember, out of Stanford, drafted as a third baseman. Cardinals drafted 3 third basemen in that draft. And I said, was it hard to make that transition to the outfield? And he said, absolutely not, because I stunk. He said, I was not a good defensive player. And there's a leadoff walk. First walk issued by Carlos Martinez. And if you see how he throws, and you know this, Jimmy, I mean, he's kind of long, takes it back far over the top, where if you're at third base, you're getting it, it's at the ear a lot of times, and you get rid of it. And that was one of the issues that he had. And he said he's most comfortable, by the way, in right field. Even though the trajectory of the ball, you would think left field would suit you being a third baseman, but he said right field is where he needs to be.
Well, the thing about right field is you have the open view of the majority of the hitters are right-handed. So it is a little bit easier to play right field, in my opinion, because you get to see the contact zone more.
There's your double play, number 26 that Martinez has induced this year. tops in the big leagues. 6-4-3.
Nice big hop, close to the bag, easy turn.
Here's Diaz with 2 outs and nobody on. 5-1 St. Louis. And there's strike 1.
Carlos is just pounding these last 2 left-handers inside. A little different than just throwing a sinker over the plate and letting him hit a ground ball. He's really coming in after them to speed him up and then trying to use that curveball. I like changing it up a little bit. It's not just throwing the ball down the middle and just relying on a little bit of movement.
3rd time through this lineup, and the 1-2 struck him out, and a strikeout for Martinez, number 4 tonight. The walk, then the double play off the bat of Cespedes. And Alejandro Diaz strikes out. 5-1 Cardinals. Leadoff man Matt Carpenter leading it off in a big way. On our Nissan drive of the game, DeGrom gives up 3 home runs in 4 2/3, and a solo shot for Carpenter back in the top spot. He's also struck out and lined into a double play to end the 4th. 2nd inning of work for Goodell. It's 5-1 St. Louis. First pitch taken high. Goodell attended Bellarmine College Prep. 3rd best high school prospect in the country. Undrafted though in 2007 in the Major League Draft. Enrolled at California. Played baseball for the UCLA Bruins. 24th pick back in 2010, 24th round. Made his debut back in April of last season when Henry Mejia, former closer of the Mets, suspended by baseball, went on the DL, and they like him. That's line foul. This name may ring a bell. His brother is the Rule 5 pickup by the Phillies that we saw over the weekend. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Now their dad is David Goodell. He's a biologist responsible for the development of both synthetic insulin and human growth hormone.
Say it ain't so.
That's their dad.
Wow.
Popped up. Shift was on. Long way to go. And out of play as Cabrera runs out of room. One and two on Carpenter. Jerko on deck, and then Brandon Moss. Here's a 2-2. And he struck him out. So Carpenter is 1 for 4 on the night. And Goodell picks up his first strikeout. If you can't watch the games on television, now stream them live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream it, and find the Cardinals wherever you go. Here's Jed Jerko, who is 1 for 3. There they are, streaming the Cardinals.
Either that or they're texting each other. Trying to figure out what it is.
0-2. I know when you're on the road and you can't be here every night, you never miss a telecast because of Fox Sports Go. And that's the kind of dedication that you have to this position, Jim.
Now they're cheating off each other. I'm telling you, got to keep up with it.
Little bit low.
Oof. Got to keep an eye on what you and Eckstein are saying when I'm not around.
David
had him up in the booth last time I got to watch from away from the St. Louis area.
David's wife, her favorite player, Jim Edmonds. She didn't really care that David was the MVP of the '06 World Series. And this is a true story. She came back for the reunion, and all she cared about was finding a ring on one of the giveaways that had Edmonds on the side.
Got to see her last Saturday night.
Comic-Con or what?
No, at the Garrett Anderson Hall of Fame induction in Anaheim, and they were talking about Comic-Con.
Strikeout of Jerko, back-to-back Ks.
David said that she makes him dress up from time to time. Not a single person recognizes him. And by dresses up, I mean in her clothing line that she has, and it's Her Universe. You could probably check her out on Instagram and Twitter under Her Universe. I'm sure David plays the part.
Here's Boss.
Think about this, David Eckstein in Her Universe clothing. I like that. It's a little awkward.
No, not at all.
Sorry, David. So nice to know that it's not just me and you laughing, that everyone listening on headphones right now is laughing at the same time.
Here's a 1-1.
Good thing the camera is not in our booth right now.
So let's get this straight. Whew. She has her own clothing line.
Oh, there you go.
And she is marketing that to many, many buyers across the country.
Yes, and sometimes Dave has to be the guinea pig, apparently. In the clothing.
Moss with a fly ball. Out to right. Get me out of this inning. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Great to have the Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds in the booth, breaking down the action.
At the expense of David Eckstein. Sorry, Dave. It is her universe, by the way. Looking at it right here. Her universe on Instagram.
There it is.
Giving her a little shout out.
Here's James Loney and the 7th inning of work now for Carlos Martinez. Martinez has struck out 4 tonight. He's allowed 4 hits. Ground ball hit to second. Jed Jerko, 1 away. Does it seem to you that Martinez, going back to last start and tonight, has dialed it back a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's been more consistent in the middle range and not the low end and the high end. It's got to be hard to be consistent at the very low end of effort and the very high end of effort to just kick it in whenever you want to. So find it a little bit in the middle and dial it up a notch or 2 up and down, and not try to go from 91, 92 to 99. Keep it consistent in the mid 90s. The thing that I'm noticing is the control. It's been around the plate. Sinkers, the breaking ball's been good. The changeup's been good. Like the fact that he's throwing inside now more.
We talk about Molina and just guiding a staff. And it starts when they get to the ballpark. It doesn't start when they start playing the game. And Molina looked at Martinez at one point and said, look, stay in the game. I'm sure you saw that about 1,000 times in that dugout.
That's exactly what he's talking about. Stay into it. Stay into it. You can see right there when he just kind of loses a little bit, doesn't finish his windup, takes a little bit off, or he'll throw a little bit more. It's just like you got to keep it in the middle, whether it's 85%, 90%. It can't be 50% and 110%, and that's where we've seen him in the past, and then trying to pull that together in an inning where he's losing it is hard to get back to the feel that you want. So right now it seems like he has that good feel for what he's trying to do. He's kind of coming across it a little bit, but so far so good this entire game.
Keep referencing the conversation I had with Stephen Piscotty, and I said, what kind of leader is Yadier Molina? He said a great example was Game 3, the previous road trip against the Chicago Cubs. They had fallen behind, and he said Molina was the most vocal player inside that dugout in terms of being positive and saying we're going to win this game, and getting in guys' faces and making sure people believe in what they're trying to do. So we see it, out here, especially with a young guy like Martinez, and how he tries to guide a pitcher through a game, but it's constant. Now, again, I'm sure you saw it a bunch.
Well, the thing that works so well is, when a coach goes out there sometimes and you're struggling, you're kind of not listening. You're still wandering. When Yadi goes out there, he's living in the moment with you. Your players that are out there sweating with you, they're dying, they're exhausted. Coaches will go out there to slow you down, and sometimes you can not listen, just kind of listening through what they're saying. And sometimes when you get a player in your face, you're like, whoa, hang on a second. Like, he's taking his second to, he's straightening me out. He needs himself. He's going through what I'm going through, and he's stopping what he's doing to come up and talk to me. I need to pay attention. That's not always the best way to do it. Obviously, you want to listen to what the coaches have to say, but it just happens that way. I talked to Mike Matheny before about teaching the young hitters certain things, and they'll come up to him months later and say, oh, guess I just figured this out. And what his response was, we talked about that 2 months ago. So,
right.
Sometimes you're not always getting through. The message isn't always getting through at that moment, but it's getting through eventually. And I think this is a perfect example of Yadi leading during the game on the field, when he can grab a hold of Martinez and just get him to focus and lock it back down.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Not running, and it's ball 4. So back-to-back walks. No activity yet in the Cardinals pen. That may change here momentarily. Yadier Molina, this is 25 minutes before the first pitch. Talking there with Yadier Molina and Derek Lilliquist. That conversation, and I'm sure it's about approach, Martinez, what they want to do to some of the hitters.
Well, and I think too, Derek knows what a relationship that Yadi and Carlos have, and he's probably asking for help at times. How do I, sometimes it might be the language barrier, which probably we know that isn't always the case, but sometimes that Spanish-speaking session right there from Yadi does a lot more than just the English version, because he's so used and so comfortable with the Spanish version. So there's a lot of different factors out there to get someone to listen, and you're always looking for that end-all result, which is pulling it back together and getting him to regroup and focus. You can only go out there so many times in an inning, and ask him, hey, okay, we got to get this going again. And once you've lost it a little bit, it's hard to get back. Now you're feeling for it instead of just letting it fly.
Here's your ground ball. How about a double play? Garcia flips to Jerko. The spin, double play. 6-4-3, and a good turn by Jed Jerko.
Advantage Derek Lilliquist.
So he tied up d'Arnaud. Slowly hit, but hit just hard enough. Nice turn by Jerko at second base. The Cardinals have turned a couple of double plays, and Martinez is through 7. inning, Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Piscotty, Molina, Peralta for the Cardinals. Cardinals with 3 home runs off of Jacob deGrom in 4 2/3. Give up 5 runs. It's a 5-1 lead here in the bottom of the 7th, and this is Stephen Piscotty, who is homered tonight. Martinez, by the way, through 7, 86 pitches. Nobody throwing in the Cardinals pen. Take you back to inning number 5, and Stephen Piscotty already had an infield hit, RBI. This one clears the wall and left. A 2-run shot, his 19th of the year. One ball, one strike on Piscotty. Inside. Not to say that you would need him or use him here tonight. There's no doubt that Alex Reyes in the future will be in the rotation. Will that future be in 2016? Currently, at the moment, he is quite a weapon in that Cardinals pen. Just get a feeling that when you watch the team, and we see them every day, there's just a little bit more excitement when he takes the mound. You know, he's new. It's different. There's the monotony of the season. This guy comes in throwing triple digits and can shut teams down.
Same thing with Carlos Martinez, I think.
No doubt.
I think that the excitement of what he could possibly do when he goes out there on the mound is everybody's waiting for him to just show up and throw a no-hitter. Go 9.
I thought he was going to throw a no-hitter in his last start. He was that good. Two and 2 the count. The next 2, Piscotty struck him out. So Goodell has come in and really settled things down here for the Mets. Walked the first man, then got out of a bases loaded jam, struck out 2 in the 6th, and now strikes out the leadoff man here in the 7th. Molina digs in, and you can follow the Cardinals live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment, with Game Day, live game, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. It's the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. So 1 out, nobody on. Breaking ball and a strike. Your experience, Jim, how many times did players, when you see Goodell come into the game, and here's a guy that was not a part of the bullpen yesterday, race to the video room and try to find as much video as they can? They've seen him before, but he's not part of the hitters meeting yesterday.
A lot. You know what? Scott Rowland was really good at that. He would literally go in there and just go back and just look at him individually if he hadn't seen him this year at all. If not, most guys would just kind of go on what Mabes had to say, and you can see Mabes has got that book and pretty much has everybody in that book that has a chance of being up and down and been here before. But get to this point in the season and he's going to tell you this fastball can do this. He's got a split. I mean, and what the velocity is. Basically what you want to know is which way does the fastball move, what's his secondary pitch, and how hard does he throw.
Here's a 1-2, big gap in left center for Yadier Molina. Hits it out to left, and that ball sinks and drops, and it's barehanded by Cespedes. He slipped and barehanded it on one hop.
That area out there, that sod has been replaced. Right there, you can see the different color of the grass. Wincing a little bit. Never like to see anybody slip. I remember that time that Eli Marrero slipped in Chicago.
2003 in a Sunday day game at Wrigley Field.
Approximately 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But it was one of those games, too, that when we were playing the game, we knew that the field was dangerous, and that just happened to happen. You know, that happens. But you can see the sod out there. They're doing the best they can to keep the field in great playing order. But you hate to see anyone slip because your body is just not prepared for it. And that's when you see those guys in the NBA and stuff with the knees, and he's pulling on his ankle. It just, at this point in the season, things are getting weak, and it's tough when you slip and your body is just not prepared in the grass.
Did you ask Billy Finley to cut the grass a particular way?
Yeah, straight, just like it is tonight. Perfect. No, the ball doesn't go back and forth, side to side.
Well hit into the corner and right. This ball is off the base of the wall. Molina never hesitated, racing around third. He will score. Peralta with a triple, and it's 6-1 St. Louis. Boy, Yachty never hesitated from first base.
It's a good swing by Johnny right here. He's a pole hitter, but he's staying through the ball. You get a guy that is throwing a lot of breaking pitches and staying up the middle with him. Yachty does a great job. He knows his ball's hit over his head. With one out, he's just going for it. I'd like to see him look up a little earlier, find out he didn't have to run so hard all the way around, but that's just me trying to look out for Yachty.
Terry Collins will make a double switch here. Cardinals add to the lead. It's now 6-1. For Peralta, that's his first triple of the season. Ansel Robles has been throwing in the pen, and this is our Chevy call to the pen. So Terry Collins with the double switch. Yachty scoring the 6th run. Coming up, it's Randall Grichuk as we step aside. Induction ceremony that is open to the public. It'll start at 2 across the street, and then we'll have baseball later that night with the Oakland A's in town. Sam Braden, Terry Moore, Joe Torre, Chris Carpenter all be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Find out more at cardinals.com/HOF. Ansel Robles, his 54th appearance. It's a double switch as TJ Rivera takes over at second base. Rivera at second. He'll bat 9th. And Robles into the ballgame. 6-1 Cardinals. 14 hits here tonight. 12 of the last 13 hits have gone for extra bases off the bat of Randal Grichuk. Infield is drawn in, and the pitch is taken inside. His home run back in the 4th. A solo shot, number 17 this year. One ball, one strike. Here's a 1-1. Robles has been used an awful lot out of the pen for Terry Collins. And last night, after the bullpen had to record 26 outs, they need some innings here. Grichuk chased a pitch up and in, and he strikes out. Our Budweiser What's on Tap as we look ahead to game number 3, Lugo against Wainwright. Our coverage starts at 5:30. Note the start time if you have a ticket. 6:15 with our first pitch. We're on the air at 5:30. Infield now back at normal depth with 2 outs. Runner at third. Garcia has been on base 3 times. Pair of walks and a single back in the 2nd inning. Oh, 2.
You could just tell when the guy comes out of the pen throwing 97. You don't even have to look. You can see the reaction on the hitters. The way the hitter reacts to the ball, and you just look up knowing it's above 95.
Last season, Robles 4-3, 57 appearances. He was called up in April and stuck with the club. Signed as an international free agent by the Mets, 2008. Crowd tonight of 40,053, 40053. And the 1-2 pitch to Greg Garcia. Tapped foul.
Tell you what, that's impressive watching him throw right now. Just not knowing much about him. 97 set up 0-2 away and up, and he hit the glove on the spot. And then right here with this breaking ball, good action, even though it wasn't exactly where he wanted it. Just like diving down and in firm. It's just so cool to watch guys throw with that much effort and be able to throw the ball where they want to majority of the time. And then of course he misses his spot by 2 feet when I'm talking about it.
You'll learn though, Jimmy, that happens.
It is. I mean, but it's such an art. These guys go out there and pitch. And we talked about Carpenter yesterday and just how much you appreciate being able to play behind a guy that just, you know what you're going to get. Going out there and max effort, throwing the ball where he's supposed to, doing what he's supposed to every time. And you get a guy like this coming out of the pen, looks like he's doing that kind of same thing just with that much velocity. It's
1-2.
It's a part of the game that I enjoy watching from a distance now.
Well, the Cardinals needed a start like this from a starter like Carlos Martinez. The ERA collectively in the month of August 5.57. And if you look at the rotation ERA, last time it was above 5 for a month was in July of 2008. So they needed this tonight. The 2-2. Garcia out to right and a base hit. That'll score Peralta. So a 2-out RBI base hit by Garcia, on base for the 4th time tonight. Extends the inning to Carlos Martinez. Kind of whipped at this baseball.
Just enough. That's it. Good at bats. Doesn't matter if the guy's throwing hard, not throwing hard. He stays on the ball. Gives it the team a good at bat every time you run him out there.
How did you, as a player in the dog days, just try to stay somewhat healthy but refreshed if you could? That's what some of these players are dealing with now. And there's a diving stop by Cabrera and a base hit, the 2nd of the night for Martinez.
Really a lot of just contrast as far as getting in the cold tub, getting in the hot tub in the mornings, just spending a little bit more time stretching and getting prepared and getting loose. And like the more tired you get, the more effort you got to put forth to get ready and get out there and get prepared. Really stopped wandering around cities and malls and stuff and kind of tried to stay in my room and put my feet up and tried to sleep as much as I could. And food intake too. I mean, really, one of the things I noticed early in my career was sleeping in too much and eating only 2 meals a day or even 3 meals a day. You know, maybe lunch, a little bit at the field, and then after, I had to make sure I woke myself up before room service ended, order breakfast, and then if I was tired, go back to sleep, and then get up and have lunch and then get moving around.
Ball 1 to Carpenter.
The weight that you can lose that can just kind of sneak away from you just from not eating enough food and running every day, and just the heat. Big deal here when I got here with the heat was we started drinking a lot more Gatorade instead of just water, and it's kind of hard to sometimes when you get that powdered flavored mix that you get in the dugout. I needed to go upstairs, and it was so great. The Cardinals organization now, or what we did, was huge bottles of Gatorade and not just this powdery mix that kind of give and take what it's going to taste like every day.
Carpenter flips the bat. Cardinals will strand 2, but they pick up 2 more as Martinez has done a little bit of everything here tonight. Couple of hits. He's been dominant through 7. We head to the 8th. It's 7-1. that was started by Jacob deGrom, one of the top right-handers in the game today, and the Cardinals got to him. He lasted 4 2/3, hit 3 home runs against him, and their starter is still in. That's Carlos Martinez. The double play has helped him out. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays tonight. Martinez has allowed just 4 base hits. You know, think about how efficient he has been. 86 pitches. You know, last inning he walked 2 guys and still got out of the inning with only 13 pitches thrown. He now has induced 27 double plays, and he has a shot at the all-time record in Cardinals history. It was set by John Denny back in 1978. He had 34 that year. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Rivera. Ground ball. Charging Garcia. 5th error on the year. First error committed by the Cardinals. So one thing you think about with this team, the errors, and it was talked about a lot, especially early in the season, but you build the team. It's a ground ball staff, and you have to have guys that can field it. So it's another chance
for another double play. Here's Reyes. First pitch hit in the air out to shallow right. Late break, but still Piscotty is there. Throws to first, but not in time. It was almost a double play. I was going to say, would that count? He throws that ball on the money. I think he's out at first.
Rivera was drifting off the bag at first.
Scotty had to run a long way for this. You can see right here, he sees he got a bad break and he didn't know if he was going to catch it.
First pitch is a strike to Curtis Granderson. Granderson walked back in the 6th. Pair of groundouts. 0 for 2. Lined into center, should be caught, and it is. There's Grichuk. Fox Sports Midwest proud to partner with the St. Louis Area Food Bank. Great organization. They provide millions of meals annually through a network of nearly 500 food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters in the region. Food Bank can provide 4 meals with every dollar donated. Text FEED STL to 20222, and a $10 donation will help feed local families. Head to stlfoodbank.org/donate for more info. Pitch count is at 91. If he gets Cespedes quickly, would Mike Matheny think about 9 innings out of Carlos Martinez?
I don't see why not. One of those things that you can hope to get him to strive for in the future. Now that he knows, stays within himself here, gets a quick out, kind of knows what last year all they talked about was a pitch count. I know when he first came up, pitch counts, kind of lost it here and there. A lot of pitches in certain innings, but been doing a really good job lately, just getting that ground ball, like you said, pitching to a little bit more contact, allowing his defense to work.
Now on the flip side, you say it's a hot night. He's been out there 8 innings potentially. And you think back to last year when he dealt with the arm soreness at the end of the season. Might have been a different result in postseason play if he's available. So just like for a position player, you're trying to buy an inning here or there if you can.
I mean, it's probably the smart move is just to get him through this inning and get him out of there, but you just never know.
That one caught Molina. The foul ball off the bat of Cespedes. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, that's the other thing. These hot summer days in St. Louis, it's almost shocking when you look at the lineup card every day, and if you don't see Molina's name in the lineup card, you're thinking, what's the deal?
That is not where you want to get hit.
He says he's all right. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But the more I think about it, where do you want to get hit when you're the catcher? It doesn't really matter how much gear you have on. It just seems to hurt no matter what.
The pitch misses high and outside. 2-2. He's feeling for that area still.
That just got him right. Side of the chest.
It's a game like this. You're up by 6 runs. Maybe Rosario catches the 9th and get Molina into the trainer's room. The 2-2 pitch.
So hard as a manager and as a team to take your foot off the gas, though. Just feel like, what if you cannot leave anything out there on the table? And as nice as it might sound, I would love to see him just, you know, get Carlos off the field, get Yachty in there, put some ice on his chest. It's just so hard to do. Just leaving yourself wide open for something to go wrong.
3-2. And he got him. May have ended his night with a strikeout. 5 strikeouts tonight from Martinez as Molina guides him through 8 strong here tonight. Is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals with a 16-hit attack tonight. Looks like that'll be it for Martinez. 8 strong here this evening. Matt Bowman had been getting loose in the pen, and now it's Seung-Hwan Oh. Needs a little work. As Jed Jerko will lead it off. Jerko pulls it foul. Jed tonight with a base hit, run scored back in the 3rd. Every position 1 through 9 has reached base for the Cardinals tonight. And every position has a hit. Here's a 1-1. Hit up the middle. Hit number 17 for the Cardinals. You just wonder now. Jim Hayes reported yesterday about Lance Lynn. He had a visit with Lance and he had a start tonight. The idea is let him get something of a positive finish to 2016 coming off of Tommy John surgery. Well, Lynn with 3 innings, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 0 runs tonight, hitting 94 on the gun. So velocity starting to get up there. Is he a guy that goes to the bullpen and potentially help this team? This bullpen is beat up a little bit. Rosters will expand shortly. As Moss on the first pitch pops it up. Now we know that Alex Reyes will be a starter at some point in his career. Could be next year. But do the Cardinals flirt with the idea of Reyes going into the bullpen this year? And that's something they're going to have to figure out.
Every day is going to be a new adventure from now on, especially like you said, that those rosters are going to expand. The one bad thing is a guy like Lance is going to run out of places to throw.
Exactly. That's a great point. Minor league seasons end.
Yep. So I was laughing while you were talking because I was watching this guy down there pretend that he was a catcher, and he threw his hat off to catch the pop-up foul ball, and now he cannot find his hat. He didn't realize how far he threw it. He's literally wandering around the stands looking for his catcher's mask.
They brought in an usher too to try to help out.
It is unbelievable what goes on down there in the stands.
You know, I see our cameraman Phil Nichols. He's right in the thick of things.
His hat is 2 rows up and to the left. Here you go. There's the hat. Yep, 2 rows down right in front. Seriously, people. What do we always say? Looks a lot easier on TV.
It is playable, and Moss is the first out here in the bottom of the 8th.
So if you were trying to do it at home, you see the catcher right there. His mask is.
He still can't find it.
Well, look at the catcher's mask. It's right there by home plate. You don't have to throw it 2 rows forward in order to get out of the way of a foul ball.
Now, it looked like it landed right into the lap of one of the young ladies down there.
Right in front of the guy.
Right there.
The green hat.
He's looking at the wrong row.
It went down in front of the people with the green hat and then slid underneath the 2nd row right there. No wonder.
One out and a runner at first. Here's Piscotty. Piscotty with a base hit out to left. Jerko will stop at second base. Big night for Piscotty. 3 hits. We should do a speaker series every day.
I'm sure he'd ready for it now. Just got to get off on the right track with this. Here you go. Let's take another look at it. If you have this man's number, there it goes, right in front of the guy with the green hat.
And the 2 ladies too, and I'm not sure the ladies saw where the hat went.
But it went right underneath the seats in the 2nd row. So the lady with the phone on the left corner, bottom corner right there, to the left a little bit please. Right there, that lady. It's right underneath her rear end. Exactly where it is. I got my GPS location on it.
I'm not sure he's going to want it back then.
Definitely think that there's some beer down there at the bottom of the stands. Oh Lordy, we're going sideways again.
So what was that about the David Eckstein outfits? There's ball 1 to Yadier Molina. Runners at first and second. 7-1 St. Louis.
Speaking of Comic-Con, it's comical watching that guy look for his hat.
Still doesn't have it. We'll keep an eye on it. How do you not find the hat? Come on.
How do you throw it? First of all, that's like when you see your kids, right? Your son, he plays sports. My son plays sports. Sometimes when I sit in the stands and I'm thinking, what are they watching on TV that causes them to do that on their own baseball field at 10 years old? That was just one more of those reasons.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Molina. In there for a strike.
Maybe we can get him on camera again so when he gets home tonight, his family can say, Dad, you shouldn't have thrown your hat.
Throw the hat.
Tell him where the hat is. Tell Phil to go down there and pick up the hat from underneath that lady. There he is. He's going to be as
where is it?
He's going to be as famous. He's not even in the ballpark. He's on the other side of the field.
Phil, you need to walk down that empty road
There
and help
it is,
him out.
right there. He just threw it at him.
Look at that guy.
That guy got a text right there. Nice job, sir.
The guy that threw the hat back was not pleased.
Want to know the best part about it is? It was literally sitting in the seat next to that man that threw the hat back to him.
That guy threw it with disgust. There you go. Here's
oh,
the
no
hat.
wonder. He's confused. He doesn't know if he's a Pirates fan or a Braves fan. There it is right there. Watch. The guy with the Yachty hat.
Here, man. Here's the hat. Now sit down.
What the heck?
Here's a 1-2 to Yadier Molina.
I mean, it's bad enough that you throw your hat 2 rows forward when a foul ball is coming at you, but how do you wear a Pittsburgh Pirates shirt and an Atlanta Braves hat? Is he that confused?
Well, you have issues. Potentially. Who knows?
Or he didn't look in the mirror before he left.
That's pulled foul. Now he's starting to get the phone calls. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. Pitch number 31 for Robles in this game. Strokes it into right for a base hit. They'll wave in Jerko to make it an 8-1 St. Louis lead. Molina with his 3rd hit, so back-to-back games with 3 hits. That's now 19 hits for the Cardinals tonight. And it brings in Peralta. He had his first triple of the year back in the 7th. Also a single to left center. Cardinals looking for hit number 20. And we used to do games, Jimmy, and we talk about somebody in the stands, and well, no one had cell phones. Now everybody gets a call. You get a foul ball. Maybe you lose a hat.
Or you throw a hat. Oh.
The gentleman that got the hat back is now getting an explanation from those in front of him as to where the hat was for the last 10 minutes. And the guy that gave back the hat just pointed at him, says right here the whole time.
He's getting a lecture from the guy in the green hat. Now you're on.
Cardinals, if they pick up one more hit, it would be a season high 20. Double play ball out at second, and it's a double play. We move to the bottom of the ninth, or rather the top of the ninth, and the Cardinals with a lead of 8-1. It's our Chevy call to the pen. My partner tonight will have a full breakdown of the wardrobe of the Ecksteins, a visit with the guy that found his hat, and a breakdown of your favorite choice of Gatorade. All coming up on the post-game show.
We give lots of things for those guys to elaborate on tonight.
Oh, sure.
And the good news is, and usually when I'm doing the pre and post game, it's usually a 1-0 game with nothing exciting to talk about. So tonight they have so far 19 hits to talk about, 9
Jimmy,
runs to go over.
You're going to have to find something to talk about during those 1-0 games.
Yes, you do. And I always said it's a lot better up here because you'll find somebody do something stupid in the stands and you can talk about it for an inning and a half.
A strike to Diaz. Good to have you up here, ball game. On a hop hit to second baseman Jed Jerko. One away. Well, between the white lines, they've had some fun too. Carlos Martinez, 8 strong innings. And it looks like Martinez will improve to 12-7. This will be win number 67 for the Cardinals. Really good here tonight.
He did. He pitched really well tonight. He moved the ball around. He stayed with the plan. Yachty had to pull him back in a couple of times, but overall, just around the plate with good stuff and under control for 8 solid innings.
He is your Budweiser player of the game. Strike 2, James Loney. Talk to any manager. These are the games they know they have to do it to get Seung-Hwan Oh some work. You just want it to be quick, efficient, and ready to go potentially tomorrow.
It's nice that you get a chance to do it with a night game tomorrow.
Good point.
Sometimes it turns around and you have a day game and you really don't want to use them because you know about short rest, but you're forced into it. You got to throw, you got to throw.
So the last 7 days, saw him Friday. That was against the Phillies. That dramatic win for the Cardinals in extra innings. Ground ball. Jerko circles it and makes the play.
Oh, and a little changeup right there. Nice comfortable lead. Work on a couple of pitches. Throwing a couple fastballs inside, then a changeup. So me or just Carlos gotten a little bit better ever since he cut his hair off. I was noticing that today before the game.
Well, ever since he did that, he has pitched well. There is strike 1 at 95 to Cabrera. One ball, one strike on Asdrubal Cabrera. Doubled earlier in our contest. Fly ball lifted down the left field line, and it is out of play. On the air tomorrow, 5:30 pregame show. 6:15 with the first pitch. The 1-2. Someone caught the home plate umpire. The season starting to wind down as we turn the page to August. Look ahead to September. Every game so important. And the 1-2 pitch.
Those guys are getting beat up behind the plate. Little slider right there, just fouled off enough. Of course, it's Yachty right in the forearm.
The 1-2. Ground ball. Jed Jerko. Busy here in the ninth. Cardinals take game 2. The final of 8-1. Martinez magnificent here in game 2. On to the postgame show. 19 hits for the Cardinals tonight. DeGrom takes a loss. Martinez picks up the win. 8-1 was the final. Scott Warman standing by with Al Raboski. Reminder, tomorrow on the air, 5:30, 6:15 the first pitch. Much more to come from Busch Stadium tonight. The Cardinals win it 8-1. Postgame show is next.